This is The Gorge. This is a podcast where my friend Sara and I gorge ourselves in overanalyzing a game or game-related topic. Today we are talking about Phoenix Wright for the DS, Game Boy Advance, 3DS, and iPhone.
Really? Oh wait, hey, it came out on the Wii too. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah, it is on the Wii. It is on the Wii as well.
Yeah, which is really wild and super weird, but I remember that, and it makes no sense. But hey, it's all good. So I guess we're going to talk kind of about all of Phoenix Wright, and not just Spirit of Justice, but mostly Spirit of Justice.
Mostly Spirit of Justice.
Yeah, because Spirit of Justice is pretty damn good, man. Spirit of Justice is pretty damn good.
So like, I say we're going to talk about like all of them, but it's mostly just going to be like right off the bat, I'm going to say right now, this is going to be a really spoiler-heavy podcast.
Yeah, because the whole point of Phoenix Wright games is the plot. So, even in Tales games, you can kind of, even if you know the plot, you can still enjoy the games because, hey, the games are fun to play. You can't do that with Phoenix Wright. If somebody spoils a plot point of Phoenix Wright for you, they've just spoiled part of the actual game. And
Ace Attorney is it's a game that's built on twists.
Exactly. So and it's just built on, the whole game is literally based around storytelling. That's what the game is. So to ruin any aspect of the storytelling part of the game is to literally ruin the game for somebody. Mm-hmm. So just as a heads up, it's a very spoiler heavy podcast. After we get past the general the general area, we'll kind of
which, if anyone who has, this is the part of the podcast for people who haven't played Phoenix Wright, and this will take about 10 minutes because there's not much to talk about besides the story. I will say, you and I have talked about this all the time, Phoenix Wright is one of the few series where I want, no deviation from the standard.
Oh, absolutely. Phoenix Wright is a series that if you kept making the exact same game year after year, with only new cases and new story, you'd literally never hear me complain.
Because the gameplay that's in there is perfect.
It's perfect, yeah. Absolutely. It's 100% perfect. The even if they didn't add any new gimmicks, if they had stopped adding gimmicks after, I don't know, AA4, after Apollo Justice, if they had just stopped adding gimmicks and just let us keep doing forensic shit, I would be content. Are you kidding me?
No, it's this weird mix of, it's very deep, but not deep at all. Mm-hmm. It requires everything. The mechanics in there only serve to fuel your puzzle solving abilities.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're not really, you don't really need, they've added a bunch of gimmicks since the beginning of the series, and I don't particularly mind the gimmicks, but the newest ones, you and I both like the divination seance in Spirit of Justice, but frankly, it doesn't need it. It didn't need the mood matrix. No. It doesn't need the divination seance. Really the only thing it needed, it didn't need Apollo's bracelet. All it really needed was the Magatama and forensics. I think the addition of forensics to the series was a major step up.
Yeah.
Because then you really do feel more like you're actually conducting a real investigation. And I love forensics. I grew up, I spent my entire time of high school watching CSI and Law & Order. So yeah, I love shit like that, man.
So, as a side note, next time you come over, I'm going to show you Trauma Team, because there's a whole section of the game devoted to forensics.
Oh my god, I know, I want to play it so badly, just coolest. For that. And the people here listening don't know, he gives me shit about it all the time. I grew up in a family with law. My mom is a stenographer, or she was, which is a court reporter. It's that lady on Judge Judy who's on the little machine taking down what everybody says. That was my mom's job for 20 years. And my stepdad was a lawyer. So I play Phoenix Wright, and I spend a lot of time complaining to this one, going, that's not how it works! Why don't they understand? The burden of proof is on the prosecution! So
it's because it's a video game.
It's because it's a video game. It's like watching House with a doctor. You can't do it.
Yeah.
You can't do it, man. They'll just complain the whole time. I still love the series, but I do occasionally
you cringe because you're like, that's not quite right.
It's not how it goes. You can't just randomly present new evidence in the middle of a trial. I think that's like my sticking point that I hate the most. Like, I can excuse all of the other, like, the little gamey weirdnesses, you know? Like, burden of proof is on the defense. Like, I get it, okay? That's just to make it more, like, a more compelling story. But the whole idea of just, like, introducing, like, whipping your dick out and just introducing evidence whenever you want, just because you can, just because you're like, this'll be punchy as shit right now. Man, nah, man, you can't. That's just dirty. You know how quickly that would get your case thrown out so fast.
That's a nice autopsy report you have there. It'd be a shame if someone updated it.
Man, give me war flashbacks every time I hear that. I'm just like, when they pulled that shit out in the DLC case for AA5 for Dual Destinies, I was like having like PTSD trauma flashbacks. Like, oh god, no! Anything but this, not this again! Who lets these people into the courtroom with these dangerous weapons?
Yeah, well, like, the thing that would get thrown out, like, immediately, the whole trial would be upended, is like, in AA1, the minute the witnesses start acting up, they'd be like, no, this is done. And then B, when the prosecution physically assaults the defense, the case is put on hold.
Yes, you actually do have to. If the prosecution ever assaults the defense, generally speaking, you've got to, like, you know, go talk to the judge in his chambers for a minute or two, and then probably call the police.
Yeah.
Probably call the police. Like, you know, we might adjourn for a recess, says Ace Attorney. And in the real world, it's, no, somebody needs to restrain this crazy person with a whip or a hawk or a flying cup of coffee. You people need to calm the hell down. So poor Phoenix. That's the poor lawyers in these games.
Yeah. But it's a video game, so it gets away with it. Yeah. It's an anime game.
It's a major anime video game. I
love every goddamn second of it.
Oh god, for real.
My life is, like, complete because Phoenix Wright exists as a franchise.
Oh, absolutely. I feel like my life kind of centers around, like, waiting for installments of Phoenix Wright.
Oh, yeah. Like, I straight up almost cried when Dual Destinies got announced because I was afraid Apollo Justice was it.
Oh, I know. It's so, like, I thought Dual Destinies would be it. And so when I saw that Spirit of Justice was coming, I almost cried then because it was just so, like, oh my god, we're actually going to get another Phoenix Wright game or another Ace Attorney game. Oh my god. And man, it was just like, I don't know, I have such fond memories of Ace Attorney. I was, in high school, and I was at the very end of my high school career, and I was actually driving, I was living with my dad toward the end of my high school career, but my school was an hour away from my dad's house, and so I would come home from school, I'd work all day, and I'd come home, I'd go to school, I'd work, I'd come home, I'd literally have an hour before I'd have to go to bed and just do it all over the next day, and I would spend it playing Ace Attorney because it was on sale when I was working at GameStop, and I would spend that hour just sitting around playing Ace Attorney. So I have such fond memories of the first three games just from that, you know.
Yeah, I was in high school too, and just like I was in drama at the time, and you know, between breaks and, like, you know, when I wasn't on set, it's kind of funny. The group I did drama with, when we weren't on stage, there were DSs everywhere.
Oh, I'm sure. Back in the day,
there was Pokemon or Castlevania or Phoenix Wright, and we all kind of, like, Castlevania and the first Phoenix Wright kind of got, like, passed around.
Oh my god,
in, like, a big circle.
For sure. When I graduated high school, this is kind of off on a tangent. When I graduated high school, when we went to the rehearsal before the actual graduation ceremony, my other best friend, she was on the other side of the auditorium, and we both brought our DSs, and we just played Animal Crossing together, like, across the room, because we were just so bored. We're like, let's just go fish in Animal Crossing to kill time. And, yeah, man. So, I understand completely. Back in the day, I mean, DSs were everywhere. Everybody had a DS. I mean, for a long time, anybody your age had a DS, which is, you know, another podcast.
Yeah, well, it's kind of funny because I'm looking at my shelf now. Mm-hmm. I don't own the first Phoenix Wright because I borrowed it from a friend, and then I bought the sequels, so I don't actually own a copy of the first one. I should rectify that.
I actually don't own a 3DS, so how am I talking at all about these games, you ask? Well,
YouTube exists.
Because YouTube exists, and there's this really awesome guy on YouTube named Z-Slyer, or Z-Slizer. Anyways, Z-Slizer. That guy is awesome because he does really comprehensive playthroughs and never fails to press he presses on every single statement before he presents evidence. So you get the full dialogue of every case. So, like, because of that guy, I've been able to enjoy both Dual Destinies and Spirit of Justice now because I'm too cheap to buy a 3DS. I'll be honest with you. I'm just too cheap, man. I can't really bring myself to spend the money on that. I'm just like, that's money. I hate spending money. So, you know me.
But Phoenix Wright is one of the few games where I would be like I would give someone a pass, like, if they're like, I just watched an LP of it. Mm-hmm. Because Phoenix Wright is like 90% story, 10% gameplay.
Yeah.
And if you don't like puzzles or you don't have the means to play it, you can still really seriously enjoy this series.
Because frankly, even if you're doing what I do, which is watch it on YouTube these days, you still have those, like, aha moments when you play the game. Yeah, you
kind of go at your own pace. You're like, oh, I can figure that out.
Yeah, that's what I was doing. That's what I was, texting you through the whole time I'm watching, like, the last handful of cases. I'm like, oh, I know where this is going. And then the game would be like, haha, wrong, motherfucker. And I'm like, oh, shit, I don't know where this is going. Oh, my God. And it's just been such a delight. And the other thing I think about requiring somebody to play and purchase Phoenix Wright. And of course, I mean, if you've got the means, please purchase Phoenix Wright, so we'll keep getting more of them. But, as it stands, I just don't. But, like, the other thing is that, like, you can really only play an Ace Attorney game, like, once.
Like, once every, like, 5 years.
Yeah. I did go back and I replayed, you remember, I was replaying Ace Attorney 1, and it had been about 5 or 6 years since the last time I picked it up, and at that point your memory's kind of gotten a little wobbly, so now you're like, oh, I forgot how to do this. So, like, in that case,
you kind of, like, remember who the real killer is, but you're like, how did I get here?
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh god, I forgot about this twist.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Oh yeah, exactly. I mean, you forget those little, you know who did it, but you don't know how to prove it. And that's the real twist of Phoenix Wright. A lot of these games don't really have, like, very twisty killers. I mean, you can pretty much in every single Phoenix Wright.
You can guess which one is the killer when you first meet them, and you have a pretty good chance of being right. But the important thing is how and why did they get to this point?
Yeah, for sure. That was, that's the hard part. That's the puzzle, is the proving it. Like, you meet the person and you're like, aha, I know you did it, you asshole. But, it's the proof part that is so hard, and that's what makes it so fun. And it's just such a unique way to approach puzzles in video games.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah, totally. It's kind of, I feel like, I know it's technically considered a visual novel. Mm-hmm. I would classify it more as a puzzle game.
I mean, for sure, I would absolutely consider Phoenix Wright a puzzle game, just because, I mean, it's like a word puzzle almost. It's like a riddle. It's a riddle game in a way.
It's really, it really is, and it's like, dude, all the characters are so fun.
Oh my god, right?
And, like, I told you before, Capcom crushes it on exactly two things 100% of the time, and that's character design and music.
Yes.
I've never, ever, ever seen a Capcom character that I didn't like their design for.
You know me, I critique everybody's design. There's a handful I'm not crazy about, but I don't openly hate. Actually, that's not true. I openly hate Rayfa's design for Spirit of Justice, but it's mostly because it kind of creeps me out. But otherwise, I mean, it's a little creepy because she's a 14-year-old girl in a skin-tight dress that's so tight you can see her belly button. I'm kind of like slightly squicked out by that. But otherwise, I mean, yeah, all the designs in AA6 or Spirit of Justice, whatever you want to call it, are basically flawless. I mean, they're just so, oh my god, they're so good. They're also colorful and poppy. The new sprites look amazing. Not the new sprites. I mean, the new models look like sprites, so they look amazing. It was a super smart move to go to cel-shaded style models instead of soft shading, because it does a lot to help it look. I mean, there's a few points when I'm watching this game on my computer where I really did think that they were sprites.
They've done a really good job of almost mimicking the Guilty Gear Xrd approach, which is just like I'm thinking about it now. If AA7 looks like Guilty Gear Xrd, I might just die.
I might actually die. You won't see me again for sure, because I'll run screaming into the hills with joy, you know. And I'll only emerge when it's time to actually purchase AA7. Because my god, I would give anything for that, frankly. But awesome. As it stands, I mean, it's just such a solid series. It really is. I mean, even the least goods installment in the series is still really good.
Yeah.
You know, like Ace Attorney 1.
You'll get a franchise that'll be like, you can skip this game.
No.
I would recommend playing every single Phoenix Wright.
Absolutely.
With the same level of dedication you'd give to all of them.
Absolutely, for sure.
They're all solid, rock solid games.
Yeah, 100%. Just so, I don't know, they're smart and they're funny, and I think anybody can enjoy these games because they're so unorthodox.
Yeah, they're really easy to pick up, and it's... If you have trouble, they're all since they're all verbal puzzles, there's not a lot of mechanics that go into it. Yeah. So you don't need to be well, I'm just not good at video games. You can still piece it together yourself.
Yeah, it's all just a logic thing, which is, I mean, really cool. And so then there's that kind of opens it up to a bunch of people who normally wouldn't even get interested in video games. Like my supervisor at my job, she's not a big video game person, but I told her about the series and she's like, oh, that actually sounds pretty cool. And so I think the fact is that Ace Attorney should never, ever, ever change its format, ever.
Nope, just stay the course. Stay the course and eventually put Daigakuten Saiban out on
God, please.
The virtual stuff.
Please. I'm dying. I'm probably going to watch that sub playthrough at some point in the near future, because I need to know. I love Shu Takumi. I love those models. I think it's got some of the prettiest art direction in the series. And yeah, man, I really, really love Ace Attorney. So I'll watch a Japanese subbed playthrough of this game just so I can enjoy it and kind of know the whole story. My god, of course, absolutely. You won't be able to stop me.
So I think normally for games like this, we would kind of break down each character.
Impossible.
That doesn't work for Phoenix Wright, so at this point we're going to go into spoilers, because I think what we're going to do is we're just going to cover the 5 cases.
Yeah, I think that's a good start, and just a general kind of thoughts on the whole series as we go. Yeah, for sure.
Just kind of the overview for the 5 cases of Spirit of Justice, and then where applicable we would comment on the rest of the series as well.
Yeah, for sure. Go for it.
So at this point, if you haven't played Phoenix Wright, pause this podcast, go play all 6 of the Phoenix Wrights
right
and
now.
Then come back and start it up again.
We'll see you in about a year.
3 months.
3 months, yeah. Have fun. It'll be great. Don't worry. No, you'll have a good time. Promise. So, yeah.
All right. So the first one is the foreign turnabout.
Oh, yeah, the beginning. The very beginning. The longest this is a running theme with this game, the longest fucking first case I've ever seen.
Yeah, so here's a phrase we're going to probably be saying a lot in this podcast, which is a phrase I used a lot with you, which is the stakes have never been higher.
And the game never seems to end. Like, oh my god, I just like... go for it.
The foreign turnabout just kept going.
I couldn't understand. After a certain point, I'm like, surely they're done now. Surely we're about to get this breakdown. But no, my friend, no. The foreign turnabout never ends, and neither does Turnabout Revolution. I mean, frankly, the whole game is like 1,000,000 years long, and I don't know how they do it. And I just like... Oh my god, it's so good. It was such a good, solid start to a game. You're like, by the time you're done with the foreign turnabout, you're like, we're in for something good.
Yeah, because like the game opens with, usually Phoenix Wright, the first case is against Payne, and it's like, well, here's your joke one where we give you who the murderer is right off the bat. It's your tutorial, relearn all the mechanics, how to figure out the new stuff. You get your first divination seance. It's easy peasy. And then this one is like, hey, if you fail, you die.
Yeah, it's great.
You will just straight up die.
Yeah, it's kind of like you wonder why Edgeworth fired old Gaspin. He was so eager to see Phoenix heads get lopped off. You're like, man, I wonder why Edgeworth fired Gaspin. Oh, that's why. Okay. But yeah, it was such a good a good way to just throw you into it.
Yeah.
And it was a good way to get an idea of just how awesome the translation is for this game. Because, I hate puns. Oh god, I hate puns.
Yeah.
So the pun game in this game is just awful.
The pun game is the strongest it's ever been.
Awful. I was just in agony.
Are unreal.
They're the fucking worst.
They're the best.
No, oh god, I was in agony for like 95% of this game. Every time somebody opened their mouth, every time I figured it out, I'm just like, why do I play these games? I hate puns. And here you are giggling like a crazy person. I hate them.
They're so good.
No, they're not.
They're using foreign languages so they can get away with giving the most absurd names ever.
They're awful.
Peace, love, and understanding.
I know. It's awful. It was... I hate it. I'm just like, I'll be your guide. I mean... Stop. You have to stop. You're killing me, Janet Sue.
No, never stop. Always make more puns.
They're so bad.
Good. They're so good.
No, I hate puns, and yet I love Phoenix Wright, so that's how you know there's something good
the
about
victim's name is Patrol.
I know. Patrol.
Oh, I love it. Patrol, I'll be your guide, and peace, love, and understanding. I'm just like, yes.
No.
Oh, Phoenix Wright is back.
It's so bad. Oh god, no! It was just it was agony. It was agony.
This first case is like, this first case is better than some games' last cases.
I mean, for real, it was so solid. I mean, it was just I don't know. I can't even like get it out why. It's just it actually was kind of a little mystery, and it was a really difficult. Yeah. I mean, from what I saw, it actually is kind of hard.
Yeah, you get a real like immediate taste of like the hostility that Phoenix will face in Kurahin.
Yeah.
Because normally in Phoenix Wright, all of the aggression is being presented from the prosecution. Like, it's the prosecution who has like a personal grudge or a vendetta against the defense attorney.
Or they're just an asshole.
The gallery and the judge are, neutral parties to it, and they'll go with whatever, they'll tend to agree with whatever's going on.
Mm-hmm.
In this first case, you think like, oh, it's just Gaspin, whatever, I can take Gaspin. But then the gallery, the witnesses, your own defendant is against you.
Right, yeah. And so it's just like, you get a very good sense of kind of, oh, well, this is where we stand. And this game is for sure, I've said this to you a lot since we started, and it'll be a repeating theme when we talk. This game is when Capcom realized, oh, we've got 3D models. We can do whatever crazy crap we want to do now. Because in Dual Destinies, like the breakdowns were indicative of the fact, like, oh, we've got 3D models, we can really screw around. But the animations themselves never kind of broke too far out of the Ace Attorney box.
Yeah.
And then Spirit of Justice happened, and it was completely insane.
And you get Rayfa talking,
yes,
with actual voice dialogue.
Oh my god, more like everybody, like, it was just like a gasp the first time I played. I was like, talking in a trial. Oh my god, voice acting. So we're one game away from a fully voice acted Ace Attorney. Please, thank you, God, please.
Oh, that script will be huge, though. Oh my god, that's a dictionary.
I know, but it's so. I hope it happens. I'm really wanting a fully voiced Ace Attorney at some point, just because it would be the most insane fucking thing ever.
Yeah, but, and then you get Rayfa's dance.
Yes. And then you get the fact that all of these characters now have like 500 animations.
Yeah.
And some of them you only see like once or twice. Whereas before, in like Trials and Tribulation, for example, they were going to have a younger version of Gumshoe in the flashback case. And then they couldn't because they ran out of disk space. Okay? They literally could not change that much about Gumshoe's model to show that he was younger.
Yeah, otherwise they couldn't fit in a...
Yeah, otherwise they risked running out of disk space. So, like... and now we have these super unique animations that you only see once or twice per...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's great. Like, this game is such a huge step up from Dual Destinies.
Oh my god, for sure.
In quality, quality of the animations, the models, everything. It's just like they skyrocketed up.
The writing quality. I mean, I love Dual Destinies. Don't get me wrong, but Dual Destinies was saved a lot by its cast, less so by the quality of its cases. You know. Mm-hmm. We were talking about that last night. I think Dual Destinies has like the weaker amount of cases, but its good cases outweigh its. Like, how good its good cases are outweigh how bad or how not good its not good cases are. Because I didn't like Academy that much. I just really was not invested in any part of Academy. Because it's about high school, and I'm a grown-ass woman. Why do I care about high school? And then the Monsters Turnabout is just... yawn.
But... those two weren't their best work, but for sure. But
and the first case of Dual Destinies is kind of just whatever too.
Yeah, it's just a regular old case.
It ends in an explosion, and that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But otherwise, you know. So then, in contrast, the writing game steps up so much in Spirit of Justice that even its weakest case, which we'll get to, it's still really good, you know?
it's the weakest case is when you're like, oh, it's just a filler. And then by the end you're like, oh my god, this is amazing.
I know, right? Like, even the filler case is super good. So, I mean, yeah, man, fucking Spirit of Justice is just a step up in every single way.
Yeah.
And so, speaking of which, what is the name of the second case?
The second one is the Magical Turnabout.
Oh, man.
Which is okay,
man.
So the foreign turnabout was really strong, and it gave you a really good indication of what the boost in writing was compared to all the other games. The Magical Turnabout is jaw-droppingly good.
It is shockingly good it is the second case in the game. Yeah. And it's so good!
You're still learning things by this point, and they're just no, full stop, here is the quality of writing you're getting for the rest of the game.
And it's so good! I think I freaked out the hardest, other than the twist of 6-5, I definitely freaked out the hardest over everything in the Magical Turnabout, because, I've never been more delighted in my entire life than when Bonnie and Betty did the reveal. That changed my life. It cleared my skin. It saved my crops. It rescued little Timmy from the well. It was perfect. My life was changed for the better. I was in tears just because I loved that sequence so much. When they did the reveal where she pops open her umbrella and she's like, don't blink. Or she says just don't look away. And then she pops open the umbrella, and when it pops closed, there's two of them, like, bouncing around the courtroom, then it's like, oh my god, it was everything. So good.
Because it's the perfect example of, like, you would never, ever, ever expect that in a Phoenix Wright game.
Oh, I know! The shot of them sitting on the defense and the prosecution's desks?
Yeah!
Amazing! Amazing! Oh my god!
Because, normal Phoenix Wright conventions is you get that point where Apollo and Athena are hiding, underneath the set, and they see Bonnie talking with Roger.
Right?
And you're like, aha, I see where this case is going, aha.
No.
And then no,
wrong, bitch. It's so much better than that. It was so good. Betty's little Batgirl design, her design shift to bat form was amazing and changed my life. I was in tears because it was so cute, and I love
the dual animations that they get together.
Yes, oh my god,
where she's nudging Bonnie with her shoulder.
Oh my god, yes, it's so good. They're so cute, and just like their synchronized, like, shocked expressions where it blows their umbrellas out inside out. Mm-hmm. Oh my god, they're so good. I love that character, or those characters. They're so amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my god, they're so amazing, and there's so much. What else is there?
Going into that case, like, and gathering up all the evidence, and just that's one of the most, like, esoteric cases to try to piece together on your own.
Oh man, for sure.
Like, it's like almost baffling, where you're just like, wait, what is happening here?
What is going on? Like, how can she, and even for a minute, I wasn't even sure, like, how can she be in two places at one time? And I'm like, maybe it really is magic,
Yeah, it's like, is it like a mirror gimmick, or is it like, does she have like a body double or something, or is it, what kind of illusion is it? And no, it's the most simplest but most crazy explanation of that they're twins.
There's twins. It's just,
and
yeah.
Oh, and piecing together, like, trying to observe the video of it, and like trying to figure out the inconsistencies with that, and the shadows and all that, and you're just like, wow, what? It's one of those things where I'm just like, how can they make this work? And then you start piecing together, like, it's the magical turnabout is one of those things where it's like, this is what Phoenix Wright is all about.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. Just the idea of what looks like a really clear-cut case for the prosecution, and taking it and literally just flipping it on its head and really having to pull it apart to the seams to figure out. Because, I mean, even until the very end of the game, for one, I had forgotten about the rope hook on the victim, the back of the victim's pants. I had forgotten about that, and I had forgotten about Mr. Hat being ripped.
Yeah.
And so even I was sitting here, like, watching this game play out, and I'm like, well, obviously the murder had to take place either under the stage or in the coffin, right? But
and then,
no.
And then you're like, no, wait. Because I think my favorite new mechanic in the 3D games is absolutely the revisualization.
Oh, for sure.
Like, it's absolutely my favorite new mechanic. Like, it's just such a great way to put the final nail into the coffin of the case, and clear up that last minor inconsistency, and, like, watching that trail and just being like, aha, I've got it. Yeah. Now everything makes sense.
Yeah, and I just think the lift, the whole idea of actually lifting the body up into the sword was really brilliant, because, I mean, I was baffled. I'm like, well, ratings or routines, he has the perfect alibi, but it is too perfect. So how do you reconcile these? How do you make it work? And then you get the answer, and you're like, oh my god, that's genius! Like, it's so good. I mean, it's such a good case. It's so punchy.
And then even tying it back to Trucy's backstory with the Gramarys.
Yeah.
Or the Gramaires. I don't know how you pronounce it.
It's spelled Gramarye, and I know it's pronounced. The name comes from the word grimoire, like a grimoire, like a magic book.
So I think it's Grimaire.
Grimaire. I've been saying like Grimaria. I don't know. Anyways,
yeah.
I actually have
but
no
tying
idea.
it back to them and like not just kind of like in a surface level way, but actually really going into the after effects of what the troop what their burdens are and what Trucy's actually inheriting.
Right.
Like was just so great.
Oh, and it was so good. I mean, Trucy's development was so good. It was just so cool to actually have a case that was really, really about her.
Yeah.
More so than anybody.
Especially after her kind of, demoted to extra in Dual Destiny.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
She didn't really get to do as much, compared to Apollo Justice. And so, and this game did a really good job of that for, everyone.
Yeah.
Like, giving up for Apollo and, Athena got pretty much all of Dual Destinies to herself, but she still got a whole case without Apollo or Phoenix in it.
Yeah, for sure. And so everybody kind of gets their little moment in the sunshine.
Yeah. But, especially getting it for Trucy and kind of, it's a really nice, especially after the kind of, brushing off of Apollo Justice as a game that Dual Destinies kind of did.
Yeah, for sure. It's
really great to see them kind of tie everything back to finish up the last bits of ambiguity, for Apollo and Trucy's characters.
Yeah, for sure. And I thought that was really cool of them, because when they announced Spirit of Justice, I was a little sore, because they kind of, and it was a little marketing switcheroo that Capcom played. They did make it seem a lot like Spirit of Justice would be about Phoenix again. And I was like, God, not this again, because that I love Phoenix as a character, but I'm also kind of sick of him. I like him, but I do want the story to just keep focusing on the new characters, because we've explored the living crap out of Phoenix's character.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of time to shift onto somebody new and kind of see them develop in the same way. So when they kind of made it seem like Spirit of Justice would be about Phoenix again, I was a little sore and I was a little iffy about the game. So I'm pleasantly excited to have that flipped on its ear for me. Mm-hmm. Just because, I mean, it was so awesome to have basically a whole game be about Apollo and Trucy to an extent. But mostly Apollo. I mean, it was just staggering. And Maya as kind of as another character. Yeah, amazing.
We would be remiss to not mention it because we talked about it extensively. Absolutely, without a doubt, Roger Mattens has the best breakdown in the entire series, bar none.
Absolutely, 100%. I was in shock when it was over.
I'm just I could not have been more satisfied with the conclusion of that breakdown. And I put a lot of thought into what makes these work and why Rogers is the best. Uh-huh. The reason being is that the thing about Phoenix Wright, villains and, the murderers is that they always have this perfect plan that gets unraveled. And for the most part, they have it planned down to the most precise detail. Mm-hmm. And there's just one little thing that has to spiral out of control in order to ruin their case.
Right.
Yeah,
so for sure.
The best kind of breakdown like that is exemplified in Roger, and that it's when you have a control freak that loses control of it and everything's exposed, the idea of them becoming desperate to regain control.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
And then to watch these people who are despicable people. Mm-hmm. There are very few murderers in this game that have an ounce of sympathy in them.
Oh yeah, I think there's two.
There's 2 or 3
in the entire series who you feel kind of bad for.
Yeah, but and so to watch these people who are just deplorable human beings, watching them flounder and struggle to regain control, and try to put things back together and try to rework their plan, and to watch them continuously stumble and fall and go just completely mad by the end of it. Watching Retens flip out masks and getting to his own mask.
Oh yeah.
And just seeing the which amazing animation work, seeing the look of
The animations in that breakdown are the most spot on they've ever been, I think. Just the body language and the way he kind of like reacts and the way he kind of spirals away in horror.
Yeah,
and,
the way he's he's frantically looking around at the invisible audience, like he's looking back and forth, like desperate for a lifeline or anything.
Oh my god, it's so good.
It was so perfect because we got to watch this man just fall the fuck apart,
and he deserved every minute of it. And just, I mean, when it was all said and done, when it was over, I was just in shock. I actually rewound it to watch it again like 3 times
totally.
Because it was so unexpected. It was so good out of nowhere. And again, it's Capcom realizing we have 3D models, we can go completely ballistic with our breakdowns now. Which I think was the game plan all along, frankly. I think It
really felt like, to me, it felt like kind of a callback to a more serious and more intense callback to Aristotle Means' breakdown.
Yes.
Where he had the chalkboard and he's like sheepishly writing out lesser punishments while the gallery boos him.
Yeah.
And watching him slowly fall apart like that. This felt like so much more intense and more serious than that.
Yeah.
And I couldn't have asked for a better breakdown. To the point where I'm like, all the other ones, I'm like, oh, well, it's just not as good.
It's just not as good as routines. I mean, it really isn't. Even the ultimate breakdown of the game just doesn't measure up. It was just, I mean, they really kind of outdid themselves in the second case.
Yeah. And
you're just like, oh man, you kind of should have held on to that one for a little bit longer. Which is the thing we'll get to when we reach case 4. But actually, before we start talking about case 3, can we pause? Because I've been recording on my laptop microphone this whole time.
Oh, okay.
And
sure.
I just realized it, and I feel like a fool.
No, I'll pause recording. Okay, we're back.
Ha ha. Man, damn it. Spend all that money on a fucking new microphone, and I forget to use it. Feel like a fool. I'm like, man, alright, whatever. You know, it's my first time doing it, so fuck it. But, yeah.
It's fine.
I know, but still, I'm like, man, I wanted to sound pretty while we talk about Ace Attorney. I don't want to sound like no Joker. I love this series.
Alright, so... yeah, that'll be it for the Magical Turnabout, which stellar case and perfect example of what this game is going to be.
Oh, and it's such a good breakdown of what we said was that, like, what Phoenix Wright is as a series. Like, for sure. And so then next is, I don't actually know the name.
Next is, like, the exact opposite of what Phoenix Wright is. It is the Wright of Turnabout, which, hey, it's the return of the Phoenix Maya duo!
Yay! It's also the return of Maya being, accused of murder again.
This is the third.
Yes.
Third time?
Third.
Fourth.
No,
fourth.
Fourth?
It was 2-2 or 1-2.
Right.
2-2 and 3-5.
God, you're right.
Because she was very briefly accused of it at the very end.
Right.
Because Godot tried to cast it on her.
Right.
For killing Elise.
Right, you're right. Yeah. Man.
So,
okay.
Fourth time.
Maybe Maya should stop going outside.
That's maybe Maya should, like, always have an alibi wherever she goes forever. And never
everything.
Travel alone. Ever.
Ever. If somebody says, like, hey man, maybe you should go somewhere alone with this priest where there won't be any other witnesses anywhere to see you not killing this dude, your answer should be, fuck no.
I'm going to bring a camera. And I'm going to set it up so that no one can accuse me of murder. I've been here before.
After a certain point, Homegirl just needs to start carrying, like, seriously, her own taser, because Manfred von Karma taught us that that's a pretty handy way to take somebody out.
Yeah.
And a gas mask for as much as she passes out. Chill. Carry some fucking oxygen with yourself or something, girl. Breathe. I don't understand. Yeah, I love the game, but I did roll my eyes pretty hard in the fact they nearly rolled out of my skull when it was like, oh, Maya's been accused of murder again.
I do like how Phoenix just straight up says, like, yeah, we've been here before.
Yeah, I do like also that, you know, after Maya is arrested and Emma shows up, Phoenix isn't, like, unhinged at all. He's like, so how are you, Emma?
Yeah.
Like, he's just like, hey, Emma, how's it been? And she's like, oh my god, your friend's just been arrested. It's fine, we'll handle it.
And for once, we have a detective that's like, yeah, I don't believe it either.
Oh, I know, right?
But,
thank God!
Like, because, you know, we had Gumshoe, who kind of had to side with the prosecution, because it was his job. You know, we had Fulbright, who's always like, he's boisterous and fun, but he's like, yeah, she did it alrighty, yup. Asshole. And then Emma's like, yeah, I don't want to testify, because I don't actually believe she did it.
I know!
But I gotta do my job.
Is Emma Skye not just a ray of fucking sunshine in this game? Is she not
glad
just like...
she's back.
Oh god, she's just so brilliant. She smiles and the whole world lights up from it.
She got what she wanted, and I'm so happy for her. And
she's so happy now, and she's just so perky, and she's nice to be around, and she's just like, yeah, life is good, and she has these beautiful animations, and her new model looks great, and I'm just like, I love Emma Skye. Oh my god, she's so perfect. It's just like, she's the wife. She's my waifu.
She's your science waifu?
She's my science waifu, man. That's my science waifu right there. I'm like, I'm gonna marry that girl someday.
And then we are also back in this case. We are back to getting Phoenix Wright and his magical girl sidekick.
Oh, I know. I'm so glad that it's the return of Phoenix and his magical girl sidekicks. Two of them, in fact. Not only does he have Maya, he's got Rafa.
Yeah.
For a large portion of it. And it's
whenever Maya can't do it, Rafa joins the party.
Amazing.
And gets to be just a total brat. And I love that. I love that girl.
I love that girl. She's so... Because, like, when you first meet her in the first case, she just seems like... She has that bratty, like, little breakdown at the end where she's, like, having to be dragged out of the court while screaming at Phoenix and shaking her fist at him. But then, like... And I'm just like, oh, okay, so she's gonna be like that. And then you meet her, like, you know, in this case, and oh my god, she's even more fun than you expect because she has the greatest embarrassed animation in the entire series.
She has that, like, stunned look, and then she brings her hands up slowly.
And they curl, and she just kind of, like, her whole body just curls up with, like, embarrassment and rage. And, like, it's such a good little animation just because, like, you can see her fingers just kind of, like, shake as they curl in on herself. And I'm just like, oh my god, I love this
And her face gets all red. It's so good.
Oh, and the way she just kind of grimaces. Oh my god, it's such a good animation. I could talk about just the animations in this game all day because they are so good. And, like, Rafa is a really good example of how good the animations in this game are and what a step up they are. Even from Dual Destinies, which had really, really amazing animations. Yeah. Spirit of Justice manages to just take that to another level with how expressive they are and how just, like, they have really good timing.
Yes.
We didn't bring that up. We haven't brought that up yet, but here we are. The animations in Spirit of Justice have the most incredible sense of timing, of animation timing.
Yeah,
where,
timing
like,
and weight to them.
Yeah. That stretch and pull, and the just the kind of the way, those little moments, like I was telling you the other day, when Sadmati slams his fist down on the desk, and his beads kind of smack down on them after his fist.
Yeah, they take a moment to settle down. Or the fact that his braid will flip out, you know, whenever he does a grand gesture, his braid will take a minute to settle down. The adding, and I remember looking at this, and I remember the first time Phoenix Wright's ever been in 3D is in Marvel vs. Capcom, or Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
Right.
When he gets added in there. And if you've seen his level 3 ultimate, which is, of course, is the objection, where he does the table slam and the point, you know.
Right.
If you watch that, it looks god-awful. There's no weight to his motions. Like, there's no drama or, like, dramatic posing or anything like that. It literally is just a drag from point A to point B for his hands, and there's no tension, there's no snapping to it. the 3D models in Dual Destinies and Spirit of Justice are so much better than that. There's so much weight and impact, and the fact that like every pose kind of takes that extra second to get settled in.
Oh, I know.
It's the best part.
Oh my god, they're so... I mean, they have such a good sense of... Because, 3D models, one of the biggest problems I've always had with 3D models is that a lot of times 3D models can feel very weightless. A lot of games I play, I don't know, just the way they're animated and the way they're modeled, they can come across as you're looking at them, and somewhere in the back of my brain, I always know they're hollow.
Yeah, exactly.
The 3D model is hollow.
Well, send a box flying in Deus Ex,
Yeah, exactly. And so it has a sense of kind of obnoxious weightlessness. But that doesn't really exist in Spirit of Justice, because they do have such a good sense of timing, of squash and stretch, and of a pull, and slowing down and speeding up. I mean, all of these little things that really help it to really feel very alive, despite the fact that they've, like you've mentioned before, they don't add things like breathing animations, which is a really good idea, because now there's no sense of I mean, they still look like sprites, like that's
that's the best part. They still very evocative of sprite work.
Yeah, exactly.
And, like you mentioned, like I told everyone before, like we talked about this, like the fact that there's no idling. There are for certain poses, but for the most part, there's no like idling. Like their shoulders don't move, their chest doesn't expand. It reminds me of the coolest thing is like in Smash Bros. 4, Mega Man, when he's standing there, he is stock still.
Right, yeah.
There's no shifting of his weight or anything. He's just completely stock still, and that's like such a. It really just helps evoke the old sprite animations.
Yeah, for sure. I think just the game visually is the best the series has ever been, from a design standpoint and from an animation standpoint, from an everything standpoint. Just, oh god, it's so good to really watch. And I mean, Rayfa's animations are a good indicator of it, because all of her little quirkies are amazing. Her embarrassment, her thought. I'm making the poses as I tell you this.
I know.
I keep remembering I'm not actually on camera when I tell you these things. But her thinking pose, she's got her knuckles against her mouth while she thinks, is so good.
Yeah. Well, let's be honest. Like, when we're playing these games, we're making the poses.
Oh, I'm definitely at least making the faces.
I'm doing the finger pointing when I do a take that or I do an objection,
Yeah, for sure.
I'm slamming my hands on my knees or on whatever table I'm sitting at.
Yes!
I'm shaking my head. That's my favorite is always the head shake.
Oh, because it's so exactly how I feel all the time. Like, boy, you a damn fool.
Yeah, like especially Phoenix and Apollo, where they bow their heads and they're just like, nope, that's not right.
You're so stupid. I know we're not here yet, because it's not. We're almost at case 4, but boy, the double death slap.
Yeah. Oh,
we'll get to it in a minute. But boy, the double death slap. You know what I'm talking about.
So, but like before we get to that, so what's interesting is that the Wright of Turnabout has all of the ingredients of being just your standard old. Here's your classic Phoenix Wright case. Maya's your assistant. Maya's the defendant. Emma's here. She's being accused of murder again. It's up to you. And then day 1 ends.
Oh, I know.
And you are found guilty.
Hey, have fun with that, buddy.
And then the guard bursts in and says, "We found another body."
Oh my god.
And then my hands were shaking. It's like I had to like put the 3DS down and like walk around my room, because this is straight up unprecedented.
Oh yeah, to actually lose like that, for sure. Like,
it's and again, it harkens back to what I said for the first case. Like, you have literally everyone not just accusing you of guilty; they're out for blood.
Oh, for sure, they hate you. I mean, they literally hate you. And like, I think the way I love the fact that the way they handled in the second day of the trial, the way they handled the fact that because you were found guilty, or because Maya was found guilty, that is now undeniable fact. Like, you have to actually base your whole case around the fact that, like, you've got to, like, really work around it. You can't say, like, well, Maya didn't do this, because now that you've been officially found guilty, on record, she did do it. She, on the record, she did do it. So now you've got to think, like, really, really around the box to try and go, well, okay, how do I prove that this happened? Like, you've got to first prove that the zealot guy died first and tie it back to the other murder. You've got to do it in reverse. Because they're not going to listen to you.
They're not going to listen to any new evidence in regards to the first murder.
Right, because it's been solved by their by what they have to say.
Yeah, by Kurahine standards, it's resolved. It's done.
And oh god, that's amazing, right? Just to really have to work your way through it. And I love the divination seance. I know I say we don't need any more gimmicks, but I love the divination seance.
So it's such a rock solid thing, because it's, and I thought about, like, what it makes it so good, and it's the fact that it requires you have to sync up 3 different points to make it work. You have to find out which part of her insight is incorrect, and it's not a linear thing. The divination seances are not a linear thing. There are so many, like, multiple senses that it could be within each, like, scenario, like, with each, like, scene.
Yeah.
Like, you have to find out which scene is incorrect, which part of the scene is incorrect, and what evidence contradicts it.
It's so good. It's such an interesting way to kind of play with this idea of the fact that the divination seances are, despite Rafa's worries, they are true. They are 100% factually true, but the fact is that what you're seeing is the real deal. It is really what happened. Like, it is undeniable fact that this is what happened. And it's just a matter of taking that and going, well, what we see is not necessarily what we think we see. There's more to it than meets the eye.
This isn't like, finding an inconsistency in testimony or finding what makes the mood matrix different. You can't deny anything that happens in this. What you can do is reinterpret it.
Right, and I think that's awesome. I think it's so clever to really take these things and be like, well, this is the God's honest fact of the matter. And you have to find a way to kind of make the facts work for you instead of trying to deny the fact. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and
awesome.
Just like, it's so, like I said, the stakes have never been higher.
Oh, I know.
We didn't talk about it in the second case, but we got to talk about it now. Nayuta is probably the most, like, dangerous prosecutor.
Oh, he's such an insufferable asshole, right?
Oh, he's completely insufferable. He's worse than Von Karma.
Oh, he is. He's just rude. And, I mean, even by the end of the game, I still don't really like him that much. I mean, like, I can tolerate him now. I can be like, you're not so bad. But I still don't like him that much, because I'm like, boy, you are just an asshole. You are a special kind of asshole.
For most prosecutors, even for Edgeworth, even for Franziska,
yeah,
they will, and for Simon and all of them, they will begrudgingly admit when you have a point, and they know, like, when you have proven something irrefutable, they know to back off of that, and then they'll focus on their next point, but, they'll be like, all right, you got me here, I got 100 more bullets for you.
Well, and that's the other thing, is that usually, like, with all the other prosecutors, with Simon and Edgeworth and Franziska, and, I don't know about Godot, because it's been a really long time since I played Trials and Tribulations, but after a certain point in the trial, when they realize what you're getting at, like, when they realize, oh, this person on the witness stand is guilty, after a certain point, Edgeworth and Franziska and Simon all start trying to help you.
Yeah,
I mean, they're kind of assholes about it, for sure. Yeah,
well, it's, are you helping me? No, I'm hurting him.
Right, exactly.
Kind of thing.
They're
but,
really
like, they'll be like, okay, they'll admit it when it happens. Like, you have to, like, go into the very last text bubble before Nayuta will be like, yeah, all right, I was wrong.
Right!
And even then, he never actually admits that he's wrong.
Yeah, you have to, like, literally shock him into knocking himself out with his beads so that you can actually get a word in edgewise. Like, all of the other prosecutors, after a certain point in other cases, the prosecutors are poking holes in your arguments so that you can make your argument actually work. Like, they're helping you by, like, saying, well, okay, if this happened, if so-and-so killed this person, then what about this? They're not really actively accusing the defendant anymore. They're more saying, well, what about this inconsistency? And they're asking you, hey, I found a flaw in your argument, and if you want to see justice served, you've got to point to me how to correct it. And meanwhile, Nayuta Sadmari is just an asshole the whole game.
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty much until the very end of the game.
Yeah, it's so, like, fucking, if I have to hear him say, let it go and move on one more goddamn time.
I'm gonna shove that butterfly up his ass. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take that little butterfly, I'm gonna bend him over, and I'm gonna kick it up his asshole until he's barfing it out, alright? Because I hate that fucking butterfly. I hate that fucking animation because it takes so long, and there he is looking so fucking zen the whole time. He's just like, let it go and move on. And then there's this little fucking butterfly landing on his fingers, and you're like, you take your eyebrows and you go.
You fucking shitbag. Like,
fucking dirtbag, piece of shit. Just, even at the end of the game, I don't like him that much.
Yeah, you know?
I really don't. I'm just like, man, you are a special level of asshole that I'm having a hard time forgiving. You know?
Like, he's so fucking hostile.
He is! And we'll get into it in a minute, because, like, my biggest beef with Nayuta happens in 4. But, right now we're still talking about 3.
Yeah, I do also, I mean, you gotta mention it, because this is the case that introduces them. Fucking Dats and Believe.
Oh my god!
Are like, oh my god.
Oh my god! Best supporting characters ever?
I like, God, if there's any characters that I want to reappear in Ace 37, I want it to be Dats and Believe, because, like, Dats is great, man.
Dats is amazing.
Fucking hilarious.
And Believe at the end of 3, if we're talking about another amazing female characters in this game, Believe at the end of 3 changed my life.
Yeah.
Like,
fucking Viva la Revolution.
Rips off her veil and then takes her lipstick and she paints the mark of war on her forehead, and she's like, I will fight in my husband's stead. And you're like, just tears streaming, because you're already crying from the breakdown.
Yeah.
You know, the breakdown in this game is not really a breakdown, it's more like a break your heart down. Yeah. So you're already crying from the breakdown, and here's Believe just being like, I will move on and become a badass. Here, let me take my lipstick and paint the symbol of battle on my forehead. And I'm just like, oh god, I'd follow you into battle, Believe. You know? It's amazing.
She's so great, and, like,
oh god.
Again, like, this case, like, by the end of it, like, there's never been a case like this.
Oh, I know.
Where it's a complete self-defense, and, you know, a self-defense and suicide combination.
Oh, I know.
I don't think it's never been spoke.
Oh, it's, like, oh man, shit. I was gonna say something about that was really important. The fact that they did a really awesome job of using 6.3 to really establish just how fucked up the Defense Culpability Act is.
Yeah, oh my god. Like, this is what it does, not only to defense attorneys, but to families.
Yeah, it destroys them, because, like, you can't even, because of the way it works, like, if Tarust had taken the blame for killing Zealot, right, then obviously, because Believe loved her husband so much, she would have leapt to his defense. But even so much as, not even just defending them in court, but just defending them in the court of public opinion is considered aiding and abetting. And for that alone, you could be tried and convicted under the DCA. So you can't even, in Korean, you can't even defend your husband just,
like, unofficially.
Because you love
like,
him. Yeah.
Yeah.
It did such a good job of establishing just, like, what a nightmare, like, the DCA really is. And, oh god, so good. I've got, like, chills thinking about it. It was such an amazing moment. Oh my god.
Oh my god. Like, and just, like, we gotta mention, like, dude, Maya channeling, Tarust.
Oh man!
And
making it look so easy!
Yeah. One of the best moments ever.
And when he like touches his hair, and he's like, have I come to the Twilight Realm with a full head of hair? I was like, oh man.
And the judge is like, I hope when I die, someone channels me with a full head of hair.
I know! It's amazing!
You know, I gotta mention it right now, like, no matter what, which version of him. The Judge is one of my favorite characters in the entire series.
I mean, right? How could you not love him, though? Because he's so, like the Judge in Karayan is a little bit more,
a prick?
A prick? Yeah, for sure. But even him, he's still kind of, like, lovable in his own way.
He's still got that goofy Judge feel.
Yeah, he's great. And just, like, when in 6-5, when, you-know-who, like, terrifies all the animals away, and he, like, drops to the floor, and he's like, oh, forgive us your mercifulness! I was just like, oh, man, okay, I forgive you for being an asshole, because you're pretty fun. Yeah, man.
He's great.
Just great. And I just like that he was friends with Tarust. And
yeah, they were having dinner together.
They were eating dinner together. And yeah, good. Oh, and good on Ace Attorney for flipping my expectation. I thought Believe was just going to be Lady Kira. You know?
Yeah. I thought Believe was going to be the murderer. And, like, you know, and that was going to be, you know, open and shut, case closed.
Yeah, easy.
And then, fucking nope.
Nothing in this game is easy. That's what you need to learn.
Yeah.
At this point, if you haven't learned it by this point, nothing in Spirit of Justice is easy at all, ever. Oh my god. Amazing, though. Just such a good way to, like, wrap the case up, too, because it's so poignant, and you're just like, oh no, it's sad. I didn't expect sad, you know?
And then when you're reeling from that, when you're like, oh my god, like, because that case just doesn't stop. It keeps adding more and more and more, and then you get to the final conclusion, and you're just like, you don't have any words, because, like, no one got punished. Like, there wasn't a villain in this story that you can watch them, like, there's no, like, you know, you don't get the satisfaction of watching a villain crumble in this one. It's just a tragic tale.
I know it. It's so sad.
And then, so, like, you're like, I need a breather. And then we get one.
Oh, and did we get one? Did we not get... I was really, really kind of, like, when I started Turnabout Storyteller... Yeah. Even knowing that it had Simon in it, and Simon is my favorite character in the franchise, Hala. I love that fucking weeb. Even with, like, knowing that Simon is in it, I was like, oh god, it's filler. I don't
Yeah, you're just like, oh, it's just a a 1 day case, like, you know, we don't even get an investigation period, like,
it needed an investigation, though. I'll never back down from that one. It should have had an investigation period, at least. Yeah. You know? But, whatever.
But you're just like, okay, well, you know what? Fine, I'll do it. We'll see what happens. And then by the end, you're just like, oh my god, this is great.
It's so much fun. It doesn't have a great villain breakdown, and Geiru is not like the most interesting villain that the series has by any stretch of the means. But, I mean, you're not really there for that. You're there because Simon is incredible the whole case and never stops being incredible, and Window is the single best witness in the entire game.
Oh, he's great, man. Like,
amazing.
There's, like, the Simon thing is great because, like, for once you finally get someone that does not cow to Nayuta.
Oh, right? Oh, man. Like, he's so just, like, in his face the whole time.
Yeah, he does not give two shits about this guy or his prayer beads or whatever. When he cuts the prayer beads, yes. I'm just like, oh, thank God, that feels so much better.
Oh, man, just to have one character in the game who's just like, who the fuck are you?
He calls him Prosecutor Sad Monk, and that's the best thing.
Prosecutor Sad Monk, which is great, because sometimes I still struggle on how to spell Sadmati.
The way I remember it is that it's HD first and then DH second.
Oh, okay.
Because it's Sadmad He.
Right.
So that's how I remember it.
See, I still kind of, every now and then I'm like, wait, am I putting these H's in the right place? Which is kind of a story of all of the names from Kuraya, and you're like, am I doing this right? But no, like, Simon really does steal the show. I mean, it's kind of supposed to be Athena's case, but Simon 100,000% steals the show. Him and Uendo just completely dominated the
Uendo's
case.
Character is so good. Like, there's never been a witness like him, and he's just so much fun, man.
He's fun, and if we're going to talk about amazing character animations, like,
Uendo takes it, man.
Oh, they just took it to, like, they really did an awesome job of, like, before the multiple personalities thing kind of came out, they did this really cool job of just making every single one of his, like, animations look super distinct, you know?
Yeah, watching him shift between characters, and then finding out shifting between personalities.
Yes.
Like, it's so fluid and clean. That's like, it's one of those things where it's like, you couldn't do that with sprites.
No.
Not as well.
No, not nearly. It wouldn't have nearly the same impact. His courtesan, her name, Sisagawa? Something like Shishagawa?
Kisagawa, I think.
Kisagawa! When she does the awesome, she snaps her fan against the railing around the witness stand. She snaps it down and then points at you with it.
Yeah.
It's such a good animation, because again, it's that, and he has amazing animations, but it has that good bounce, because it kind of goes pop, bounce, lift, bounce. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's such a nice, satisfying kind of, has a good flow to it that, again, I'm doing it as I do.
Yeah.
Like, you can see me. Like, anybody can see me. I'm doing it right now. Mm-hmm. Because they're good. I mean,
they're
God,
so
they're
solid,
good.
man.
Oh, man. I mean, really, he is such a... I mean, like, because Garu is so just, like, whatever.
Well, I told you earlier, like, Garu made me physically recoil because I'm terrified of clowns.
Yes, you are.
And I can usually handle them in media,
right?
Like, you know, within a screen. But quote-unquote sexy clowns creep me out to, like, no end.
Yeah, no thanks. I mean, she's just so, like, compared to the rest of the cast, she's pretty unremarkable, you know? Like, she's just a sexy clown, and she killed her teacher, whatever.
Yeah.
You could have, you know, they could have done a little bit more with that, maybe.
Yeah.
But whatever.
She deserved to have, like, a better, like,
reason?
Like, no, not reason, and, like, also, like, shift.
Yeah.
Like, that shift to, like, the angry mode.
Yeah.
Could have been a bit, like, more intense than what you'd expect from, you know, something like that.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like the reveal for Matt and Guard when he flips his hair up.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Is, like, one of the most shocking things ever, and you never see it coming. Like, she kind of had something like that, but she could have had way more.
They could have
the
pushed
transformation
it
should have been way more, like, concrete.
Yeah, I did like the transformation for sure, but it was kind of just like a bummer to have her shift back into, like, she was kind of, you know, like when she was in, like, badass balloon sword mode, whatever.
Yeah.
That was cool, and then it was kind of like at the end of it, she just shifted into, like, you know, little girl mode.
Yeah, back into bouncy mode.
And then from there, when all the balloons popped and she was literally just a little girl. I mean, I get they were trying to make you feel bad for her, but, like, I really wasn't feeling it. It didn't quite work because
it didn't work because, like, you didn't really empathize with her as much.
Yeah, because you really, again, you don't, because the downfall of a one-day case with no investigation mode is you really don't get a chance to talk to her that much. Yeah. She's on the stand for, like, a pretty short amount of time compared to the rest of the characters.
Yeah, compared to Wendo. Wendo dominates the
conversation.
Thing.
Yeah, for sure. And so, I mean, it's just kind of hard to feel much for Garu in this context because, I mean, it needed more, especially for her.
And her motivation was remarkably weak.
Yeah.
Like, I expected there to be, like, something else to it besides that.
Yeah, like, I thought for sure the deed to the soba shop would come up, like, as a real plot point.
Yeah, and not just the presented at the end of the case to show, you know, to make your client happy. Like, if it would have been more compelling, like, if it had been an accident.
Yeah.
Or if, like, you know, something else had happened in the meantime. Like, then it would be more sympathetic to her. But, like, it's compared to some of the other, you know, reasons that they've committed crimes.
It's just,
like,
so weak.
It's, you know, jealousy is... It felt like her character was, like, an Ace Attorney 1
Yeah,
thing.
Like, that whole case felt very, I don't know, like, I loved...
Not the whole case, but, her specific character, because she's basically a retreading of April May, for one thing.
For sure.
And, like, it felt like her motivation and her, like, her personal attachment to the story felt like an Ace Attorney 1 kind of thing, where they were still kind of finding their feet and they could get away with making things kind of basic.
Yeah.
She really should have had something else to it, especially to match up, you know, not even with Uendo, but also with Bucky. Like, even Bucky had, like, more of a quirk to him. And, like,
and Bucky was awesome.
His dedication to making the best soba possible.
Yeah, I mean, Bucky was awesome, too. And, I mean, talk about amazing animations.
Yeah, dude. Like,
the fluidity, that fluidity is astonishing.
His wobbling, his hair, everything, him skating around. like, the rest of that case was just so much... It was so entertaining, you know?
Yeah, and then the twist was so boring compared to the rest of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the twist was that Owen was super cute.
Yeah.
Oh my god! I'm gonna adopt that child. I know it's actually not a child.
Yeah, you're gonna adopt this
him.
20-year-old man.
I know. I'm going to. I'm gonna adopt this 20-year-old man with a split personality, and one of them is a 5-year-old boy. But really, like, you know, they kind of were alluding this whole time to Owen being the killer. So I'm thinking, like, Owen is gonna be, like...
a badass. Or, like
a badass, or like, the scary defensive one. The one that's like, I defend, you know, Uendo with my life kind of character. And then he sits up, and he kind of lifts his head, and he's got the little boy fringe going on. And he's got those big watery eyes, and my heart just broke. I just fell in love instantly.
And you're like, you can't be him, so, like...
No.
Who else is available, really?
And and so, like, you know, you had that also. I guess the twist was that Owen was so cute.
Yeah, the twist is that Owen couldn't be the killer, and, like, then you had to piece it together there.
Right.
But you know what? This case had one of the best moments, probably in Ace Attorney in general. Which was
shoulder grab?
Yeah, when Simon straight up grabs Athena and shakes her.
Yeah. Yeah. It was pretty awesome.
Like, you can't, like... Because it's the level of, like, you couldn't do this with the old games, but like seeing it happen, like seeing like him, like they did it in first person, which was the best they could have done it, and like having the camera actually shift and like get pulled towards him, and like him just like yelling straight at you.
Oh, it was so awesome.
Is this all it takes for you to crumble? Like, I expected better of you.
It was so good too. It was so smart because they did it so right, where he's sitting there in the standard defense assistant pose, you know, the kind of 3/4 half-turned angle towards you pose, and then you say the line, or Athena says the line that kind of trips it, and the camera stays in that same kind of depth from you until he actually turns and grabs her by the shirt or the shoulders and shakes. And then you're actually pulled forward toward him. And such a brilliant move to kind of... Because there's nothing different about that shot at all when it starts. Yeah. You're not expecting it at all.
It's such a great moment for Athena's development to have someone, like, just shake her out of it.
Right.
And, like, have her turn the case around. It's just like, oh, that's one of the best. And that's one of those things where, like, you can only do that once. You get one shot to do a case a situation like that, because it'll just fall apart if you try to do it again.
Oh, absolutely. And for reasons like that, you can tell there's a reason. They kind of planned early on, you can almost tell, to have all of these close-up shots in the game, and there are a ton of close-up shots in this game. And they decided, well, if we're going to have all of these close-up shots in the game, all of the models need an update to a certain degree. And you can really see it in the updates in Simon's model. They're really clear. You know, his facial expressions are way more clear. His eyes are way more clear because he's got the dark hair on top and the dark circles on bottom. They've got to, like, really make sure his eyes stand out, and they did a really good job of it. So that just that clarity of the model, because I mean it's literally right in your face, and I mean that very literally. You can see right then and there, probably better. I mean, only than Rafa's her dance, but otherwise, like, that's such a good idea. It's such a good way to know, like, oh wow, they really brought their A game with the art design of this game for sure. God, it's such a good case, even with its lackluster killer. Just Simon and Uendo, them just, God, they were so good. They make it completely.
I love it. Was such a, you know, like, just have a case you start off, you're like, oh god, and then by the end of it you're like, that was really good.
I really expected another turnabout Big Top.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Especially when I saw a clown. I'm like, oh god damn it, not again. Not with my favorite character. I'm begging you, Capcom. Don't put my favorite character in a bad case. Come on.
And then they turned it around and, like,
they did right by me, thank God. Yeah. So, you know, good for them. Thank you, Capcom.
You
didn't let me down.
I really do appreciate the solidarity in the fan base. That, like, you know, Turnabout Big Top is without a doubt the worst case in the series, bar none.
For sure.
Like, everyone agrees with that.
For sure, no matter what we all disagree on. I know you liked Turnabout Academy.
Yeah.
I didn't. We have our disagreements about who's the best character, what's the best case, is Dual Destinies actually a good game? People have these arguments all the time. No matter what happens, we can all come together and hold hands and sing Kumbaya, except we're not singing Kumbaya, we're singing Turnabout Big Top Sucks! Turnabout Big Top Sucks! We're all holding hands and singing that around a campfire together because Turnabout Big Top sucks ass. Yeah! And yet somehow Shu Takumi loves that one. I don't get it. He loves Mo.
So, you know what doesn't suck, though?
Oh, man. Is it Turnabout Revolution?
It's Turnabout Revolution. Are you ready to talk about this 12-hour case?
Oh my god, this game that's longer than the entirety of the first game? Yeah, let's do it. We might be here a while.
Holy shit. Where do you
start? Where to start? I don't know.
This case just kept going.
It didn't end. It's the case that wouldn't die.
You know what the weirdest part is? I never got, fatigued with it.
No, never! Except for one part, but it was mostly because I was super tired. And, I was watching it at 2 o'clock in the morning and falling asleep.
You were fatigued for other reasons. You were never oh, this case is dragging on too long. You're like, oh my god.
Oh my god. I'm actually really glad that Saturday night when I turned it off, I told you, I was like, I'm about to fall asleep. I literally turned it off right before the jerk twist. Mm-hmm. I was 2 videos away from that, and I'm really glad I did, because considering how exhausted I was, I don't think I would have been in the right mental state to, comprehend what was happening. I was barely in the right mental state to handle it on a Sunday afternoon, because, oh my god.
Holy crap.
Oh my god.
So first off, the first half of it is,
stellar.
Stellar because, again, there's nothing about anything like this. For one thing, it's a civil case.
Yes, it is.
I mean, it turns into a murder later, but it's a civil case. And you're against the Phoenix Wright!
And it's so awesome! It's so awesome! Oh my god!
I do love that Apollo has that one, one really quiet line to himself, where he's like, yeah, I won. But, if Mr. Wright weren't being blackmailed, I don't know if I could have.
Right, exactly. And of course, I mean, I've never wanted to punch Phoenix Wright in the teeth harder other than at the end of 4-1, of course, where he actually does get punched in the teeth. I've never wanted to punch that man harder in the face than when he's like, I always come prepared. And I'm like, I'm going to kill you while you sleep. You piece of shit. Do you really
It's great because for once you can actually see, what do the prosecutors see?
It's true.
And the prosecutors see a very confident man.
Who's constantly bullshitting.
Yeah.
I'm just oh my god. What I really want now that the game is out, I would love to have a little companion book come out that's just Phoenix's train of thought during this whole thing.
I want to replay that case from his perspective.
Where he's just freaking out 85% of the time, the way we know Phoenix Wright to do.
Yeah.
I would love to see that inner monologue where it's oh, Apollo's really on the attack now. Oh shit. Oh god. Oh man. It'd be amazing.
It'd be great.
So much fun. Just
and I gotta ask, Janet too. I wish she had a Twitter because I want to talk to her. Because was politician Donald Trump?
I don't know. Was that how you were? Oh, by the way, is that how you're pronouncing his name? Attition?
Yeah, Paul Attition.
Okay, because I was pronouncing it Addison, and I guess that's why it took me a minute to get the pun.
Yeah,
I was saying Paul Addison, a normal name, and then I kind of said it a few times, and I went, I'm gonna go kill myself.
Yep, Paul Attition.
Fucking puns.
Because it came out now, and he's been campaigning for a year now.
Yes.
But I don't know how far along the translation was at that point. So is that what he's I
mean, those signs on his palanquin kind of. I mean, they say Kurain. They don't exactly say make Kurain great again, but they kind of do.
Yeah, there's kind of some lines of dialogue where I'm is that what were you going for that?
Donald Trump? Really? I mean, I get it. I totally thought the same thing, too.
Yeah.
Because, like, it's basically Ace Attorney's version of Donald Trump, for sure. Mm-hmm. What a horrible little Weedly man.
Oh,
Donald Trump and the character, I mean.
I love that his name is politician Wimperson.
Oh, yeah, I know. Right? I like that after the Wimperson reveal, literally everybody called him Addison Wimperson.
Yeah, Apollo will only refer to him as Addison Wimperson, or like Addison Wimperson. Like, it's the best. It's so great.
It's so good. I'm so glad because, like, yeah, what a horrible little Weedly man.
Oh God, Army's so cute.
Army's so cute. Army is so, I mean, like, I loved Sarge just as a little drone, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I was so in love with, like, this little drone and its sad little mustache pulling and the way it sagged and it just was so well animated and you're like, oh no, you poor little helicopter! And then it showed the child behind it.
Yeah.
And I thought I might lose my mind. It was so perfect.
Oh my God, she's so precious.
Oh, she's adorable. She's so cute. Oh, shut up, you two. My dogs are barking. I mean, they're so cute. She's just so cute. I can't handle it. I'm glad that even Athena was like, oh my God,
yeah,
she's
even
so
Athena
cute.
was like melting. She's like,
I know, because she is. I was dying the whole time she was on screen.
The animation where she's clutching the drone,
yes.
and like she's like shifted
so
over in her seat, is just adorable.
The little pouty face is just amazing. Oh, that child. I love that little child so much. Mm-hmm. So cute. What the? Hold on. Talk to yourself for like 3 seconds. Let me check on my animals because they're looking at something.
Like, it's... this case was, like... they really should have divided this into 2 cases, but I'm glad they didn't. Because, like, it's the kind of thing where, like, if they broke it up into 2 different cases, it would have kind of ruined the flow of it, I guess. And how you kind of need it to keep going to show how draining it is on the characters as well as on you, the player. Because, like, I mean, your player can take breaks, but you're not supposed to for a case like that. You're supposed to keep going with it. And, like, so the first half of the case was just so intense with not only the investigation, but also...
Be quiet.
Hello? Okay, not back yet.
I'm back.
Oh, you are?
I am. I just sat down literally as you were saying, oh, she's not back yet. I am now.
Okay, so yeah, like, I was just saying that, like, it's super intense and, like, you know, busy the first half of the case, and, like, I'm kind of almost glad they didn't break it up into 2 cases, because that would ruin the flow.
Yeah, for sure. I'm trying to just think, like, I loved... For one, they were really smart in their callbacks to actually having Pearl show up, and I didn't think Pearl would show up.
No, yeah,
so
like we're going to Karain, and I'm like, well, you know, it's a pretty busy game as it is. Like, I would like to see Pearl because we're in Karain,
right?
But like, you know, I'm not expecting. Then she showed up and she was super cute, and I'm like, yay,
Pearl! I'm sorry you can't paint.
Not even that callback, but seeing all the stuff that Archie Buff stole.
Oh man, I know, right? What a nice
the Ami urn, the urn, the statue, the scroll.
Yes, it was so awesome. Just amazing. Just all the little callbacks, all of the whole showdown between Apollo and Phoenix was so intense. I know that's a gimmick that they can't repeat too often.
Yeah.
But if they brought it back for AA7, you would not hear me complain. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, because I enjoyed it so much.
You know what was really, really nice about it? It's like the first time we've ever seen someone, like, be afraid of Phoenix.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, from Apollo's point of view, yeah.
Like, it's the first time where someone's like, yeah, like, what do they call him? The Turnabout King?
Yeah, or that Turnabout Terror or something
Turnabout
like
Terror,
that.
that's it, yeah, where it's like, yeah, this, you know, for once, this guy's actually getting, like, yeah, he's won all of his cases ever.
Yeah.
He's literally won every single case he's ever been in. Be afraid of this man.
Maybe show him a little bit more respect, you know what I mean? Nayuta.
Yeah.
How about that? Yeah, can we talk about that for a minute? How about the fact that, like, the Wright Anything agency has now gone 3 for 3 by the time, like, Turnabout Revolution starts?
Yeah.
or by the time Turnabout Storyteller starts, you know, he's 2-0 against the Wright Anything Agency. Maybe he ought to keep his trap shut when he's shit-talking Athena. You know, like, maybe you be quiet, asshole.
We're seeing a pattern here, and the pattern is you keep losing.
You keep losing because you're an asshole. But yeah, no, it's awesome to see Phoenix actually get some of the respect he deserves for once.
And it was also really, really nice, and I forgot to mention this early on, but, like, having the judge, like, be, like, actually concerned that, like, he doesn't want to see these two fight, because, like, he understands the bond that Wright Anything has with its employees. And then, I didn't mention this in the second case, but, like, my heart melted when the judge was like, when Judge told Trucy that, like, I'm about to hand down my not guilty verdict. Can you smile for me?
Oh, I know. Wasn't that wonderful?
Because, like, you know, like, and you kind of got it a little bit in Dual Destinies, too. Like, the judge, like,
knows these people.
Yeah, like, he's been, like, friends, like, pretty much friends with them. Like, to the point where he got offended that Phoenix didn't invite him to a magic show in the DLC case.
Right! Like, it's just so nice. He's so, like, I mean, he likes these people, and he's friends with them, and he actually wants to see them all do well for once.
Yeah, like, didn't he even have a line where he's like, it's, like, in Dual Destinies, where he's like, it's good to see you back on the defense, in the defense bench.
Yes, it's so nice just to kind of have all that come back, and you're just like, yay, he's such a good character.
He is.
And
I love the judge, and, like,
I love the judge. I hope we never find his name. I hope we never learn the judge's name.
I swear to God, like, if they reveal the judge's name, I'm gonna be like, there is a fan pack, because, like, apparently, you know, making mods for Phoenix Wright is pretty easy, because you have all the rights available, and you just need to write the script, basically.
Right.
There is one where, A, they reveal the judge's name, and B, the judge is the victim, and I'm like, nope, I'm not doing that. Nope.
Never mind.
You can't convince me to play that. I will never put up with that.
Nope, sorry, I'm not playing this one.
The judge needs to be that right level of, like, plot element, but also character.
And goofy. Like, he's the judge is always the exact perfect balance of serious and goofy. Like, the moments where the judge kind of, like, takes control of the courtroom and is like, no, we're doing it the way I say, are really good, because they're balanced off by the fact that he's just an idiot.
Yeah,
but,
he's willing to you know, cow to the prosecution. Like, he's easily kind of manipulated or kind of, like, led on by the prosecution.
To an extent.
Yeah, and then he gets to the point where he's like, no, you know what? This is my courtroom, and I won't let you push me around on this.
Right.
Like,
I am going
following up on this.
Yeah, it's great. I love it. I just think that and so, yeah, to see him kind of worry about the Wright Anything Agency was really nice. It was really cool to see, you pointed out to me, and I loved it, the fact that Phoenix is very visibly more in control during that whole trial than Apollo is. Yeah. But he's not nearly as unflappable as the rest of the like any other prosecutor. You know, he still freaks out the way Phoenix Wright is supposed to freak out.
He does his sweating animation way more than any other prosecutor would.
Exactly. And that was really good. It was a good way to kind of show that this is still Phoenix Wright. He's not out of character. We just can't see his inner monologue.
Yep.
You know? So yeah, just a good way to kind of... The split was really smart.
Yeah. And then, of course, you know, there's day 2 of the case.
Oh, God.
And, like... holy fuck.
I may never recover.
I cannot, like... so, you know, you have your investigation.
Right.
And, you know, at first you're like, this is impossible. How the fuck are we going to figure this out?
Right.
You know, you're just gathering the evidence. You're like, I guess it'll make sense in court, you know?
Because at that point, it was the perfect locked room mystery. Yeah. And I mean, it really did just spell doom and gloom for you, because it was just so, like, oh, well,
open and shut. Like, there's, how do you, and then to get to court, and then to have Garan be like, no, my turn.
Oh my God. Can we finally talk about Garan or Garan?
Holy fuck.
Oh my God. That is the closest I've ever come to tears, just from how excited I was in a game, because I have been complaining probably since Trials and Tribulations that all I want all I ever wanted from this franchise was, one, another truly evil prosecutor, because it's been a while since we had one of those. It's been since Von Karma. And two, I wanted that truly evil prosecutor to be a woman. Because Dual Destinies, I don't know if you realize this, Dual Destinies had no female killers in the entire game.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, you know, I don't know, it's such a rarity in Japanese media to have, like, a truly evil female character who just really owns the whole situation. And I just thought
and then Spirit of Justice is like, oh, is that what you want?
Oh, I know! And it was perfect. It was everything I've ever wanted. I was so... I mean, I was I was on the Twitter account. I was just like, I would follow Capcom into hell for that twist. Because it was so flawlessly done. Because, I mean, they really did set her up to be... I thought she was going to be dead by the end of the game, for sure.
I thought she was going to be the murderer.
Mm-hmm.
I did not expect her to be the prosecutor.
No. Oh my god.
And I did not expect that transformation.
Oh my god, you mean when she turns into Ragyo Kiryuin? Yeah. Oh my god, that's exactly what it is. Her guards step aside and literally in the back of my head, all I can hear is Blumenkranz just at the top of it, just da 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 da. I can't sing it in German, so
and then she transforms and you're like, oh balls.
I was just awestruck.
I was like, my hands were shaking.
Breathless.
I'm like actually starting to sweat. I'm like, oh my god,
Perfect.
What are we gonna do? And then she reveals that she can just make up laws.
Oh, I know! She can just change the rules whenever she wants because she's the queen and that's what she can do. And that's amazing. Amazing.
And then she has probably the best bonus objection quote.
You know, such insolence?
Such insolence is so good, man.
I want to know who her voice actor is, because I'd really like to know.
Yeah.
Because her objections and her such insolence sounded really good.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd really like to know her.
And then I immediately went from terror to calm, serene hatred when she, basically verbally abused her daughter in public. Yeah, in public. In
front of me.
And to the point where Rayfa had a panic attack.
Yeah, that was great, And
then I'm like, oh, alright, so we're doing this now.
I'm gonna take you down, you evil bitch.
Oh, this will be fun.
This will be great, because
I can't wait to make you cry.
Because how dare you? How dare you disturb my beautiful bratty daughter? How dare you do that to this wonderful child? Rayfa did nothing wrong. Alright? Don't try and tell me that Rayfa Padma Kurayan did anything wrong, because Rayfa did nothing wrong. She's a perfect, sweet little flower. She's my daughter. I'm adopting her. I don't care if her mother isn't actually dead. I'm adopting her and Army, and I'm gonna just skip off with my adorable children, and I'm gonna go take Elise from Tales of Exilio with me, and I'm gonna have all of these beautiful, happy little daughters, and we're going to be the happiest little family of weebs ever. And how dare you harm my sweet child, you evil bitch with your ugly hair? I'll kill you.
Oh, it's like, just like terror to like, alright
then. Alright, we're on. So I'm going to kill you now. How dare you?
So I have got evidence to use, and I'm going to tear your regime to pieces.
Yeah, and
you made it personal. Whoopsie doodle.
Oopsie. And just like Rayfa was so beautiful in this whole case, okay? Just when she finally stood up to her mother, and I was like, I was trying to not cry a lot in this game.
This case was just dramatic twist after dramatic twist after dramatic twist.
I know, just all these emotional punchy moments, followed by the single most emotionally punchy moment in any game ever. I've never, ever, ever in my entire life wanted a theory to be more wrong.
Yeah, when Dirk was revealed to be dead, and for once seeing it in Apollo too.
Yeah.
When it's, he gets to that point where he's just like, please let me be wrong. Please let me be wrong.
Yeah, for sure. I wanted it to be wrong so badly.
And he finally got his despair animation.
Yes, and it was awful, and you just feel so terrible because it was so. They really did a good job of making Dirk this awesome, likable guy.
Yeah, Dirk was this great character, and like you're like, okay, well, he's a shitty dad, but then he starts to warm up to you, and then he, you start to really get attached to him, and he does the dragon stare thing.
Oh my god, yes.
Where he's just like, no, my turn.
And he has his own objection, because of course he does. He's a lawyer, of course he has his own objection. And the fact that he spends the whole time he's on the stand just shit-talking Garan is incredible.
Like, without fear, he's just like, yeah, whatever. I don't care. He calls her
a witch. I was just like, oh, I love you. I do love you. And just, oh man, the scene where he gets shot is so badass.
For one thing, again, there's never been a scene like that in Phoenix, right, where you actually get to see the murder play out.
I know. It was
taking
so
3 bullets,
badass.
staggering, and then doing the dragon, like, the Kaioken or whatever.
The One Piece hockey bullshit, where he's just like, no. And
to the point where Inga's like, screw this, and he runs away.
Yeah. Oh man. I just like, it was such a shock. It was so sudden to just be like, this character just got shot in the chest in the game in front of me. And they, oh man, but so badass, where he just took it and he touches his chest and he looks at it and he's like, holy shit, I've just been shot. And then he looks up at Inga and he doesn't fall over.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh my god.
And he's like, do you think that pea shooter can kill a dragon?
I know! Oh my god!
You're just like, oh fuck.
I was just screaming the whole time. And screaming because I was sobbing, but screaming
and then,
also
Maya, just that poor girl has to watch this man who saved her life, has to watch him bleed out and have him be like, don't worry, I have a plan.
Oh, I know. Just, no. Just no. It was so like, the whole game has basically been about like, hey, let's stomp all over Apollo Justice's emotions. Yeah. And then we're just gonna really twist the knife.
And then, almost immediately after that, when you find out first off that Amara is still alive.
Oh man, that was
which you're
insane.
Like, what the fuck is happening now?
What the fuck is going on? Yeah.
And then she gets shot.
Oh my god, I know, right? What the fuck is going on in this game?
And okay, so there's that. There's Dirk getting shot. Are like all those slight animations there are almost as good as Roger's breakdown.
Oh, I know, because they are so. Again, it's that sense that Capcom has a really good sense of pacing and timing, where it happens and there's a small pause
where you can kind of like.
Yeah, a little moment to absorb it. Not much.
And then you see the aftermath of it. And, like, what was scary about Amara's is that you see Dirk get shot and he immediately starts bleeding in the chest.
Right.
You see Amara get shot and you don't know where the bullet is at first.
Yeah, I thought she got shot in the back at first. And then
I thought she got shot in the back of the head.
Yeah.
And that she was just dead. She was just straight up dead.
Listen, if she had died, I would have turned it off. I just would not have seen how it ended. Because, like, I couldn't handle one more bullshit death of a character I was already getting attached to.
Yeah.
Like, even though she'd only been on the stand for a very short period of time. Listen, as soon as she had her Shoujo Sparkle breakdown, where she realized, like, she was still in love with Dirk, so she just whips her head to the side and just,
and the sparkles come out.
And as soon as that happened, I was like, alright, I'm on your side, lady.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that she's a Disney princess.
Oh yeah, she's totally a Disney. Like, it's her character design. Like, again, her character design's super great, and like
amazing. Just having a tiger walk up out of nowhere and just sit down next to her and be like, "Hi, incredible."
I loved it.
Oh my god, and what else?
There was the reveal that Rayfa is her daughter and not the daughter of Garan.
Kind of called that one. When did I call that one? When I saw the baby picture.
When you saw the picture, you're kind of like, okay, that's probably Rayfa.
There's a very good chance it's Rayfa, because they established that the the picture of Amara holding the baby had to be taken after he formed the Defiant Dragons.
Yeah.
But he didn't form the Defiant Dragons until after he had given up Apollo.
Yeah.
So you had to know, like, okay, that picture is not as old as you think it is, so then Rafe, that can't be Nayuta, that's got to be Rafa.
Yeah.
Or it's got to be somebody else. And of course, there's only one other kid other than Albi. Yeah.
So the really scary thing about this case for the longest time is that you don't get anyone new that it could have been.
Yeah, oh man,
like, there's
right?
no new suspect or no new witness. Like, all you have is the roster that's already developed, and you're like, okay, well, it has to be someone I already know then.
Mm-hmm. And I didn't buy the whole Nana thing. Like, I really did not think I mean, pretty much from the word go, we all knew Garan did it.
Yeah.
Because of course she did. Look at her. She's literally Ragyo Kiryuran from Kill la Kill. Yeah, she's the one who killed him. But that said, I kind of worried that maybe, like, Nana was her accomplice in some way. I worried that Amara was actually going to be evil, and I was like, please don't do this to Rafa again. Please, can we just give this child something nice for once in her entire life?
Can she have one parent, please?
Please, one good parent. Although it was pretty surprising that Ingo was a complete garbage bag, and yet not a bad dad.
Yeah, still loved his daughter a lot.
That was really nice. I like things like that humanize villains.
Yeah.
That don't necessarily make them good people, but make them people. You know, like
exactly.
It's too easy to make It's too easy to make a bad character just a bad person. But to know that he kept the pictures of Rafa, and to know that he kept all the little letters she sent him and stuff like that, and that his safe was her birthday.
I know.
That was nice. It was just a nice little... Because it was kind of... Especially mostly for Rafa's sake, honestly.
Yeah, mostly so she can have something.
That she could actually have one parent who... You know, that's the reason she's functional at all, is that she did at least have one parent who seemed to care about her while she was growing up. Mm-hmm. Even if he was scum, ultimately. Yeah. I mean, he was complete and total scum. But really, it seemed more like he was just under Garen's heel the whole time. Until he shot Dirk, you motherfucker. But even then, I don't know. I mean, it was a nice little humanizing moment. I did not want it to turn out to be like, oh, well, Inga's actually hated her the whole time.
Yeah, I was afraid of that too.
I'm really glad that was not a thing that happened. Mm-hmm. So yeah, good for you, Capcom. You didn't fuck that up. I'm proud of you.
And so, you know, and then, of course, once it's all starting to piece together. And
oh, man.
When they, like, it's that climax where she's straight up like, you know what? I'm just gonna have you all killed.
Yeah. Oh my god.
I can do it. I can have you all killed right now. And the armed guards burst in and point guns at everyone.
And here's Apollo Justice proving once and for all the fact that I was right and Apollo is the best protagonist in the series. Here's a guy with guns in his face and he's still like, bitch, I'll fight you.
Yeah. He's like, I'll make this work. I'll piece this together right here, right now. After watching learning his adopted father is dead, seeing the death of his birth father, right? Like from his own birth father's perspective, right? You know, seeing his adoptive brother, like realizing how much, you know, how under Garan's heel he is, like seeing all of this that would just crush someone, and he's like, I'll make this work.
He's like, I will fight you. I will fight you to the end with a gun in my face.
And then he's just like, you can't channel spirits, can you?
Ha ha, you bitch.
Oh,
amazing!
And then he put, like, and I've like, I really, really wish that breakdown was better.
Oh, I know, it could have been. The problem is, again, they made Radiance is too good. Yeah. They made it way too good. Suddenly, the second case has this, like, huge hurdle to clear. Yeah. And, like, nobody can do it.
Hers was good. Garan's was good. Was, like, really, really good. But, like, it really...
it could have been better.
It's the last one. This is the last breakdown. I wanted to see this woman... I wanted to see her fall apart for 5 minutes.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, I wanted to see her, like we talked about yesterday, like, I wanted to see her, like, pretend or, like, you know, fake that she channeled the Holy Mother. And then have her, like, try to convince the crowd or convince the guards or, convince Apollo or the judge that the channeling was a success and, like, everything's working out. And, like, having her fall into the divination pool was great. She really should have slipped into it.
Absolutely.
I wanted to see her, like, shriek in terror as she falls into the water. Like,
yeah.
There should have been way, way, way more suffering in this awful bitch.
Because she was just the most awful bitch in a series of horrible, horrible bitches. In a series that produced Dahlia Hawthorne, who is probably one of the most reprehensible human beings that the series has ever given us, other than Damon Gant and Christoph Gavin. I mean, Dahlia Hawthorne still... even with as much as I hate Garin, Dahlia Hawthorne still stands on top of the bodies as the absolute worst person in the franchise, just because I can't stand her.
You know what I also really think they missed out on with Garan? Mm-hmm. She had so many props and accessories to fall apart with.
Oh, I know. Like, her nails should have broken in that last scene, too.
She had the thing where her nails break off in her animation.
Yeah.
They should have just, like, completely shattered. Her hair should have gone limp. The fan should have, like, torn or something.
Or the law book, just, like,
the binding falls apart or something.
Yes! Just to show that she's just losing, like, all of her power is literally slipping through her fingers.
Or, like, like when she like, tries to write a new law and the page tears in half, you know?
Something like that.
Because those are, like, really good examples of, like, having a character fall apart to have, like, all their accessories break on them. It reminds me of another really good one, actually, in Dual Destinies, Florent Lebel had the thing where during his breakdown, he was taking calls.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, all of his, clients were canceling on him. And deals were falling through. And that's just, like, such a good sign of this character's life is now falling apart.
Yeah. You know who actually did have a really good breakdown, now that we're talking about them real quickly? Addison had a really good breakdown.
Yeah.
It was a really small one, but it was awesome.
The thing, like, the nameplate twisting, and like, the political, like, wins the election, and then the scandal, like, the cameras and all that. Yeah. Titian had a really good breakdown.
Yeah, and it was just, like, the bonsai, bonsai, and all the dudes clapping behind him was awesome.
Yeah.
I was actually really surprised that they gave him a fully fledged breakdown, because I knew that it wasn't the end of the case. But they gave him, like, an actual breakdown. It was really good. So good for them. Good for you, Ace Attorney, for following through and making that a legitimate case.
Yeah.
But man.
And now we have the perfect sequel hook for Ace Attorney 7 because Apollo is in Karahin.
Oh, I was so torn.
I was really heartbroken until I realized that if there is going to be an Ace Attorney 7, Apollo's going to come back in the last case. Like,
of course,
done,
and we'll get the divination seances back, of course, which is cool. So yeah, I'll take it.
Done deal. He's gonna come back. He'll be back by the last case because they want to have a big dramatic moment where his theme plays.
Of course,
and he's like, I'm here to help.
Yeah, he's fine. I'm so glad the game did ultimately end up being entirely about Apollo.
Yeah, it was really good to see it, like, to see him get his story like that, and finally put the nail in all of the, and then to even have the post-credit scene.
Oh, I know!
Finally!
Oh, thank you. Hopefully that means that...
Thasala.
Oh god, that's an impossible name to say.
Yeah,
Whatever.
she's finally going to tell Trucy and Apollo that they are brother and sister.
So can we please have the game? Can we have Ace Attorney 7 just start like that?
Yeah.
Like, let's just get it out of the way, please, because I'm dying. I need these two to know. Because in 6-2, in the Magic Turnabout, I mean, he's already being, like,
yeah, she's already giving flowers to Trucy.
Yeah, and Apollo's already in, like, major big brother mode the whole case, where he's like, don't you shit talk Trucy, right? I'll kill you. Of course. They just need to know. I need them to know for the sake of my own happiness, damn it. Because I love Apollo Justice. I do.
So,
and now I'm excited for AA7 to be even more about Athena, because she's my other favorite.
So, I mean, like, they've left enough of a sequel hook that, like, you know what, at this point, I'm not worried anymore.
No.
The only thing I am worried about is, will it be on the 3DS, or will it be on the NX?
Who knows? That's the big issue. Are they ever going to even announce the NX properly? Never. At the rate they're going, it's like Half-Life 3 all over again.
Yeah.
So Man, Spirit of Justice was real good.
Just like rock solid fucking game the whole time.
Rock solid. Either best game in the series or second best game in the series, for sure.
Trials and Tribulations is still pretty damn good.
Trials and Tribulations is it's real damn good because again, Dahlia Hawthorne is in that game, and wow, what a bitch. But still, I mean, either first or second best game. If anything, it's tied with Trials and Tribulations for its level of goodness. And I haven't even played the DLC case yet. Yeah. I gotta watch that tonight, probably.
Yeah, I'm gonna be tapping on that tonight too. You know, I mean, all I know about that one is that, you know, it's got almost everyone. That's the one thing that I really, really hope for Ace Attorney 7 is, dude, bring back Gumshoe and Franziska, please. They're the last two that's left.
Oh god, they're the only ones that's left. I need Gumshoe to come back with a big hockey beard.
Yeah.
I want Gumshoe to come back with a big hockey beard. Come on!
Please, just give me this poor man be a detective again. I miss him.
I miss him. He's so wonderful. I miss Franziska because she's beautiful. And she didn't really get a chance to be a prosecutor that much in her own game.
Yeah.
She only got 2 cases, so we really need more of her. I love her. I want her to come back. I really just
Let's have her go on a world tour and have her end up in Kurahine and go against Apollo, who has no idea who this woman is.
God, please, yes. That would be amazing. I really am excited for Ace Attorney 7, God willing, if we get it. I mean, we will, probably, because we're getting Daigyakutin Saiban 2.
Yeah.
For some reason. I guess it sold better than anybody expected. So clearly, if that's getting a sequel, surely Ace Attorney is going to get a sequel, right?
Yeah. Oh, I hope so.
Right? Come on! Like, it's Ace Attorney. Capcom can't give up on that shit.
So, I think that's about it.
That's it. I'm still going to go cry about Dirk some more.
Yep. Yeah.
I love Simon Blackwell. I'm going to adopt Army. And I'm gonna adopt Rafa. Yeah, yep. I love all of them. They're beautiful. So
that'll do it for us. If you want to yell at us about Ace Attorney, you can send us an email at thegorgepodcast.gmail.com.
Oh, I do want to say one more thing. I just realized it. I know we're trying to wrap it up, but whatever. Hey, not using bones to animate your fucking anime cutscenes was the worst decision you've ever made in your entire life.
Get bones back for Ace Attorney 7.
Because, I don't like terrible. A1. A1 Pictures couldn't even make the anime look good. Do you really think they're gonna make the animated cutscenes for the game look any good? No, they look awful. Oh my god.
They look terrible.
They look terrible. They're so boring. There's like a handful of shots. And then I went back the other night, like last night, and I watched some of the cutscenes from Dual Destinies, and they're incredible.
They look great.
Oh, they look amazing! So, you should be ashamed of yourself, Capcom. Bring back bones, alright? Now I'm good.
Okay, yeah. So, an email at thegorgepodcast@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter at thegorgepodcast. Special thanks to... What?
I said you want to follow us on Twitter. Follow us even though Twitter. I never use it.
we are trying to use it more.
I always forget.
Look at us post funny and dumb observations about games we're playing or whatever in general. Special thanks, as always, to Visager for use of our background music.
Yeah.
Link to their work in the description.
Is there anything else?
No, that's about it then.
Fuck Dima?
Fuck Dima.
Ah, cool.
Good night, everyone.
Good night. Yeah.